right, everybody. Welcome to the Furlough Podcast. We're back in studio today. Um, this show is brought to you by All American Ford and Aniana. We have to give them a big shout out at John McAvica and all his staff. If you're looking for a Ford, a Jeep, a Chrysler, or a Dodge, you should give them a shout.
No
All
doubt.
right. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a young lady that's a lot of you know or maybe follow that she does a lot of workout videos and does different things of that nature. We'll see if we can get her on the phone real quick. Her name's Mary. Let's see if we can get that going.
The ringtone's definitely there.
Definitely there.
Hello?
Hey, is this Mary?
Hey, it is.
Hey, Mary. This is Chris and Dave from the Furlough Podcast. We've got you on air. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. We're happy to have you on the show. I was kind of telling Dave how we came across each other and how a little bit funny it was.
Well, it is funny, right?
Yeah. Um, a lot of people, I was doing a little bit of an intro on you and letting everybody know who you are. And if you want to, let's see, I'm trying to pull up your stuff again. I had you wrote down. But
Okay.
Mary, for everybody that gets to know, she does a lot of work. Ooh, I'm getting backup. You must be having me on speakerphone.
A Bluetooth. Should I take you off?
Yeah, it kind of gives me a little echo.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, much better, much better. All right,
Okay, great.
so Mary is a coach. You do a lot of workout videos, but you do a lot of coaching of people as well, right? Do privates of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the fitness industry for 14 years now. I've trained everybody from professional athletes to a woman trying to lose some little post-baby weight to someone trying to get in fitness competition shape. I've trained pros and athletes and everybody in between.
What is now? What kind of style of working out do you do? As far as I mean, you have your basic workouts, and do you think you lean more towards the CrossFit style?
Oh, no.
No.
So there is no one-size-fits-all program for anybody. So if you're coming into my gym to work out or if I'm writing a program for you, it's going to always be different. It really goes down to who I'm training. So if I'm training a professional tennis player, I'm training them quite differently than I'm training somebody who is trying to turn pro in fitness. And I'm training them differently than I'm trying to train somebody who is trying to lose some post-baby weight. So it's really a matter of what that person is looking for in their goals. So there's no one-size-fits-all. I don't train anyone the same way,
Oh, that's wild.
regardless of, yeah, it's cool.
So,
Different.
how'd you get in? What got you driven in that?
So it's really funny. This is really funny. So 14 years ago, I had a boyfriend that gave me a gym membership for a gift. And I said, what are you trying to tell me right now?
Oh, he hurt your feelings. That'll drive you on it.
Yeah, well, no, I actually didn't take the gym membership. I got a 3-month gym membership. I didn't go in once.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so I wanted to do a bikini competition, and I was already in great shape. And there was a really big prize for it. And in college, you want to get any kind of money you can. And it was
Absolutely.
$1,000 grand prize. And I looked good. I was a runner. And I thought, if I go to the gym a little more, maybe I might tone up for this. And I decided, hey, let me check out the gym afterwards. I didn't want to take the 3-month membership that the boyfriend at the time gave me. And I walked into the gym, and I haven't left since.
Oh, that's great. And that's just at the same gym, 14 years? Or you just
No,
go
different ones
different
ever
ones?
since.
Oh,
But,
okay.
I mean, many, many different gyms. There's gyms all across the United States that I could walk in and people will know me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, you definitely have the followers. I was um, Dave happened to follow your Instagram account as well. When I mentioned you, he was happy to hear that you were coming on board.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I mean,
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, well, I follow a lot of different bikini models and fitness models, like a lot of guys do, on Instagram. So one of the thing I noticed is that you're pushing the whole CBD thing, which seems to be the craze nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So,
It really is. It's a big craze, but the difference is the product that I'm promoting, it's not actually launched yet, but it's patented. So nobody has anything like it, and it's actually for your face.
really?
And oh yeah, and I haven't. It's literally not even out yet. It gives you a result within 5 minutes. You go to sleep rested, you wake up, and you can already see the effects not only in your face but in the way that CBD affects everybody with the anxiety and stress and that sort of thing. So you not only get the regular effects of CBD, but you wake up rejuvenated and your face looks younger.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Is what effects was it working on? What about and that's not like a skin treatment like acne or anything like that, is it?
Well, that part I don't know quite yet because I know there's 3 steps. It's not out yet. We haven't launched it completely. It comes
Okay.
out April 26th. So that part will release completely. It's still not launched yet, but it is a face care regimen. I can't talk too much. It's very secretive.
Right,
It
right.
is a face care regimen, but it has all of the effects of any CBD that anyone's taking right now, plus, plus, plus.
Okay.
Anti-aging.
Anti-aging. Well, I definitely need that. I'm in my 40s. My,
Yeah.
I have to, I have
I
to-
think everybody wants it, right?
yeah, I have to rub down.
Right.
I guess I have to shave first for that, though.
So how is it applied then? Is it something that is smoked? Is it a liquid? Is
I
it
guess it's a
a
cream.
No,
cream?
it's it's a 3-step process, and I can't talk too much about it. But
Okay, okay,
my company that I promote is known for their dermal fusion technology,
okay.
and so I'm thinking, and I'm not 100% sure on this, and I can't talk too much about this, but I'm thinking that it's going to be dermal fusion where you get a patch.
Okay.
And I could be wrong about that, but I don't want to talk too much about
I,
it because we haven't launched it yet.
I
Okay. Well,
understand.
I mean, today is the 12th, and if it's going to come out on the 26th, I mean, when are you going to release actually
Info.
how it's applied? Yeah.
Be on the, I guess on the day.
On the 26th.
On,
On the 26th, that's gonna be full disclosure. We're
are
gonna tell everybody on the 26th.
now are you going to do videos for Instagram on that?
Oh, you're not gonna believe how crazy I'm gonna go on that as
I,
soon as we launch it.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Well, let's swerve back around to the fitness stuff. I mean, obviously
Okay.
you've got tons of followers. You obviously do
Mhm.
training and stuff like that. And before we got off of it, one of the things that run through my mind is when you mentioned college um, was that something that you were in go that you went to school for as far as nutrition, or is that something that you got into after you started working out a lot, or
No, I was actually a psychology major, and it just wasn't something that I loved. And I got into fitness on the side,
hmm
and I did that more than I did school. Like I stopped showing up to classes and that sort of thing because I love fitness so much, and I ended up getting certified 14 years ago, and it's been a wrap ever since. Like I've been training people every day almost ever since, and it's just been incredible. I've
n-
trained professional athletes, people to the pro cards in fitness.
Right. Now, you
Just
mentioned
been incredible.
certification. I've heard of many people that have certifications. If you were going to advise a young lady that was going to do fitness to train people, what certification do you like? Or,
Well, there's 5 that are generally accepted everywhere. NASM is where I started, but there's plenty of them that are recognized within tons of gyms.
hmm
Or if you want to go independent, and that's probably what I would recommend first. Working in a box gym, if I'm going to be honest about it, if somebody is listening that wants to go that route, I wouldn't recommend starting in a box gym and I don't want to say brand names of gyms,
Right, right.
but the types of gyms where you walk in, you pay a monthly membership and that sort of thing. I would recommend doing it on your own because you got to keep all of your money and gain a level of trust with your clients that you couldn't have in those circumstances because you have to follow a certain set of rules and a certain way you must train people. When you're outside of that, you can train people in the way that you think is the right way. And inside of a box gym, you can't do that.
Now, when you get people coming to you that obviously they see you're in great shape, you're a beautiful lady, they see your results from other clients and stuff. What is some of the biggest things or skepticisms or nervousness that they usually hit you with?
It's it's generally self-serving for the client. So the skepticism that you hear is generally their own insecurity, and I hate to say it like that, but it is.
Well, it makes
It's
sense.
the excuse that people give day in and day out. Like, I've tried everything and nothing works, or
Well, yeah,
I don't have the time.
I think
Don't.
a lot of people are typically lazy. I'm a jujitsu guy, and and I do
Sure.
jujitsu. I do jujitsu about four to five times a week, and I get people looking at me a little crazy because you know you have to have a passion or a drive for whatever you're doing, and
Of
and
course.
and of course I've worked out over the years myself, but I'm not in the prime shape because again I do jujitsu 4 or 5 times a week. That takes up most of my time. I believe if I was as passionate about working out, lifting weights, or doing certain cardio exercise, other types of cardio exercises, I would probably look better. Even though the jujitsu is a very tough, keeps me in shape,
Yeah, of course.
exercise. But what I find is people don't have my personal feelings is people don't have the passion to everything. We always want to do things from a distance, but when it takes time to apply it, I would think being a trainer, that's the hardest thing that would be for me is to coax the people that want you to train them to get there every day. You know what I'm saying? There's always an excuse.
So of course, but it really comes down to this. You have to figure out where that person's pain lies.
Hmm.
So the pain of changing to them is more than the gratitude of not changing. Like, the reason they're not changing is because they see more pain in changing
Hmm.
than they do in not. And so if you can flip that switch for somebody, if you can help them on that level, that's where all the change occurs. Everybody thinks it happens in the gym, and it happens in your mind first. And that's the part that I pride myself in. That's where it happens.
That
And I can sit with somebody all day long and say, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do A, B, and C, you're going to get this result. But it doesn't matter if the person sees more pain in changing than they do in not changing, if that makes any sense.
it does. I run into that. Well, it's going back to jujitsu. I'm using this as a parallel because they're both athletic events, but
Oh, yeah,
you,
absolutely.
we get people that come in and I want to learn jujitsu. Well, it's tough and the commitment's there, and we've got to motivate them to keep coming, motivate them that they're going to get better, and it's not the hour and a half on the mat. It's the other 16 hours or so a day that they're awake that to convince them to keep coming back.
Well, and
Of
that kind of
course.
goes along with what I was thinking along. So I'm a couple of years older than Chris, and I don't do what Chris does. I'm more along the lines of the 2 to 3 times a week beer drinking. so so let's say you have a guy with a dad bod, which would probably be more fit to the average guy. What is something that those guys could do short term and immediately to see the most effects and the greatest impact short term? Because that's what people want. Everybody these days are about immediate gratification and short term results. What's something that a guy like me could do aside from cutting out beer? Because I'm going to tell you that would be a big struggle. But if
I
I
would never tell you to cut it out. I love it.
good, because I'm actually drinking a beer as we do this interview right now.
That's
So,
great. That's
so
great.
And when
what
you
is
watch the YouTube video later, you can see it.
yeah, for real. So what is
Now, okay.
something that we could do, guys in my category? I'm a mid 40s guy that could kind of knock off some of that middle-aged spread, as they call it.
Yeah, the carbohydrate crunch, like from the beer. Yeah.
Sure, right.
So this is what you do.
Mm,
So if you've got 2 or 3 days a week, you do 15 to 20 minutes of high intensity interval training. And I know that sounds scary, but it will save you from doing, you can accomplish in 20 minutes what most people put in an hour, right?
mm,
Mhm.
And during that 20 minutes, you're going to be in some pain. It's going to hurt. You're going to be out of breath. But I wish I could tell you it was easy. Like, there's a certain extent which I can say this is the easiest way out, and this is what I'm giving you. So 20 minutes of high intensity interval training, which would mean for some people, just walking on a treadmill in an uphill incline for 1 minute, and then walking on a downhill for a minute, or even just outside. But changing the elevation and heart rate levels uh, just consistently, minute after minute. So you've got 1 minute where you're gunning it, and 1 minute where you're at an even steady pace, right? If that
mm.
makes any sense.
It does. Yes.
Yeah.
So to
So
change it
I
up
like
like
to
that.
say, yeah, I like to say perceived exertion level 1 being sitting on a couch, and 10 like where you can't possibly do anymore. To do 1 minute at an 8 and 1 minute at a 4, 1 minute at 8, 1 minute at a 4, and
Huh.
do that for 20 minutes. And if
Okay.
you do that 2 to 3 days a week, you're going to be able to offset the beer you're drinking.
Okay.
There you go.
No, well, I mean, and that's reasonable because I'm going to be honest with you. So I work a night shift right now, and it's very easy to work your night shift schedule, and then you come home, have a beer or two, and then you just go to bed, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's also easy to do it like what you said. You simplified it very nicely. So 20 minutes alternating minute to minute, and it's really not that hard if you put it like that.
No, it's not. And every time you just want to make sure that you're doing just a little bit more because your body adapts to anything you do. And
Hmm.
that's the part that a lot of people don't talk about. Yeah, you can do 30 minutes of cardio every day, great. But eventually your body will plateau and nothing will happen.
Hmm.
So the important part is that if you are following that regimen, that you're taking it up just a little bit each time where that heart rate is still extending itself, because eventually your heart rate will get lower at the same level of exertion. Does that make sense?
It does, but then where does the diet play into the whole thing?
The diet is key, and then this is where the the fun talk comes in.
Well, I'm ready for some fun talk here. Let me take my shirt off
But I'm
here.
realistic. I'm realistic. I've been doing this for 14 years, and you can't do something that's sustainable for 14 years that's not. Like, you're not going to be able to do something year after year after year if it's not sustainable. And this is where most people get really messed up. So somebody comes to me and they say, "Man, this one time I did this diet and I lost 10 pounds. It was the best diet ever." But they're sitting here 15 pounds heavier, and I say, "Okay, well, how come you put on 5 more after it? Like, how good did that really work?" Like, "It worked great." No, it actually didn't work at all because you weren't able to sustain it.
It's like a
So the
wrestler
important
cutting weight.
part, yeah, it's important to sustain it. So if I say cut out all your beer to someone who loves beer, that's not sustainable for them. They'll last maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. But
Right.
after that, let's call it quits, right? Because that's just not feasible for that person. And so it's a fine line to dance on. You have to have some balance where you're saying, "Okay, I'm going to drink my beers, but then 3 days a week, I'm going to go do my HIIT cardio where I do 20 minutes, 1 minute up, 1 minute down, 1 minute up, 1 minute down."
I
You
mean,
know what I
life
mean?
life still has to be enjoyable. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And to me, that is what's enjoyable is going to the breweries, drinking beer, and the social aspect of things. And
You're
so,
preaching to the choir.
She's a brewery
well,
girl, I guess.
oh, okay. See, I didn't know that you were a beer drinking girl. So,
Oh,
but
I love.
but it's the social aspect. It's the being outdoors, and I know you're a Florida girl, So y'all
Yeah.
are outdoors people, but that's what I love that. And here we come into spring and summertime right now down south, and so I really want to. It's prime time right now for a lot of people to get out on their boat, the beach or whatever, and drink beer.
And that's a good point that Dave just made. I guess is it like for you? Is it like most gyms at the first of the year you just get inundated with clients?
Oh my gosh, January, February, and it's like a love-hate relationship with that because it's like I love to see people join, but I hate to see them leave.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things, but I will tell you this, year after year, what I do notice is I might take 10 new clients in January, 13 new clients, 2 or 3 will stick and never leave. Or even if they do leave, they'll continue to do those same practices, which I love. I don't care if they leave me as long as they're still doing it,
Right.
you know? So it's really a matter of the person, their mindset. What I will tell you comes in common is the fact that those people made a habit. And this is the part that's out of everything, the most important is creating a habit of it.
Mhm.
So if you are drinking your beer 3-4 days a week, whatever you are doing, making a habit of also working out whatever you said you were, and make a clear commitment to that. So if you say you're going to work out 3 days a week, doing that. The hardest part is the first 2 weeks, and it sucks. It really sucks, and I hate talking like that,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Well,
But once you get past that, it's a habit.
in Dave's recognition, he used to be yoked, and then he just got lazy.
Yeah.
He
That's,
was.
no,
He,
that's true.
Dave, you're yoked?
he was yoked. He was.
That's
When
true.
Dave and I met, I guess
I know.
I bet about 15 years ago or so.
Yeah.
He was in his prime shape. He was definitely beach ready, but he was
Yeah.
spending a lot of time at the
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah, and that's all I did. You know, so the joke was I was all about beer drinking and love making, but I did more love making
Yeah.
than beer drinking, and now it's more beer drinking right now.
Well, why do you think that is, Dave?
Oh, there you go. It's a great
Well,
question,
I,
Dave.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, right.
Put it on him,
I
Mary.
hate
He
to be the
needs
bearer
it.
of bad news.
Put it on him, Mary. He needs it. He needs it. I'm gonna hold his feet to the fire now.
So no, I got to get right. There's no doubt about it. But so let me tell you this. So the guy across the street, my neighborhood is really interesting where we all communicate, we all hang out. The guy across the street was actually a pretty big guy. He was, and in no exaggeration, he was 385 was his weight. I mean, that's a very large man. And he got on the keto diet. You with me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We thought we cut out for a minute.
Yeah. So he got on the keto diet, and he calls me up, and I shit you not, on the weekly, and he says, "Hey Dave, I'm down to this, I'm down to this." And actually, I was checking my mail last week, and his wife drove by, and she had the windows rolled down, and I go, "Hey Courtney, where you going?" She goes, and as she was pulling into her driveway, she goes, "I'm on my way to see my boyfriend." Talking about her husband because it's like a completely different man. So I guess my comment to you is where do you stand on that whole keto diet, and what are the pros and cons of it? And then how do y'all measure up to it?
Okay, so this is my belief on dieting, and I've done and seen everything. I've done my research on every type of diet there is. And what I will tell anybody and everybody is that the diet that you can do the longest is going to be the diet that's for you. So I will never bash something that I know works. Like, okay, there are like diets that are ridiculous, like the cookie diet, those sorts of things where it's like, just eat this one restrictive food. Those sorts of things are garbage. But
Makes me laugh.
as far as keto and intermittent fasting and those sorts of things, do they work? Absolutely. And there's clinical research to back that up. There's plenty of journals that will tell you that keto works. Is it for me? No, absolutely not for me personally. I can't sustain that because I like to drink beer.
Hey.
So
There you go.
if you like to drink beer, keto is not for you. It is not for you at all. But if you don't like to drink beer and you like to eat a lot of meat, then keto is for you. And it's literally what you can sustain for the longest period of time that you're going to be successful in. Over the years, I've noticed this time in and time out. I used to put people on relatively restrictive diets where their macronutrient intake, and I'll explain macros, they're just the basic building blocks of food where it's, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, just getting a certain amount of those in every day. And I used to put everybody on a diet that they met their ration for that, right, for the day. And I realized that some people just do better when they can have exactly what they want. And so what I would preach is if it works for you, then that's where you go. And I know that that's very vague, but if keto works for you and you've been doing it for a year and you love it, keep doing that.
Yep.
If intermittent fasting works for you, keep doing that. So it's really not a one-size-fits-all sort of thing, and that's where everybody gets tripped up. It's really more or less finding something that you can sustain for years, a lifestyle. If it's not a lifestyle, it's not for you.
Right.
So you're saying though that you can find a regimen for each individual to last a lifestyle though, right?
Absolutely. So if I talk to somebody long enough, I say, listen, be real with me. Tell me what you're doing right now. How are you living? So if I hear a girl say she's eating bonbons for breakfast and drinking beer at night, I'm not going to say get on keto. Absolutely not.
Because
that
she'll
will never
fail.
work for her.
Yeah, she'll fail, definitely.
She'll fail. She'll make it for a month maybe, and she'll hate me every second of the way, and she'll hate everything about it, and she'll say dieting is not for me.
Well,
And I hate the word diet.
Yeah, I will say this is I eat like garbage. I'll be the first one to tell it. I really wish I ate better, but my biggest problem is processed foods because it seems like everything that I have a fast-paced schedule for the most part, and processed foods, everything's processed. It's so hard. I wish I had the money to pay somebody to make all my meals for me, but that's the hardest thing to get away from.
So following 80-20. So the average person like that isn't trying to go off the deep end and make huge change in a month, which isn't feasible anyways, where people are like, I want to lose 20 pounds in a month. I'm like, listen up, buddy. Good luck. Good luck, buddy. You're gonna be 20 pounds. You're gonna lose 10 pounds. You'll be 20 pounds heavier in 2 months.
So what is the 80-20? What is that?
80-20. You eat 80% quote unquote clean, and a lot of fitness professionals will argue with me on this because they'll say, oh, that's not the way to do it. They want to put you on something hella restrictive that doesn't work. 80-20. Eat 80% clean, 20% what you want. And this is the key.
Well, it goes
you
back
don't plan that 20%.
It goes back to Dave's beer, right? You have a little bit of sweetness in life.
Dave, keep your beer, keep your donut. Let's go.
Oh, baby. I'm not a donut. My only weakness is the beer. I'm telling you, when I get home at night.
Too. It's not a weakness, though.
Well, so listen. So I get home generally, and it's not even a true night shift. Let's say I get home usually at 1:30 a.m., and that's not, I understand, that's not a true night shift. But I have those little mini bottles of wine. Or I might have, actually, right now I'm drinking just a regular a light lager right now. And I'm not a heavy, I'm a consistent beer drinker, not a heavy drinker. You get it? So I like to have one after every shift just to kind of bring myself down from the night.
Well, maybe the CBD thing's your thing.
Maybe it is, and I'm waiting to be convinced.
Hey.
I mean, convince me.
I'll send you guys some samples as soon as it comes out. I'll send them to you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Well, I would love it, and I'm going to tell you something. So
But I doubt you'll drop your beer.
I'm not. Well, if you think I'm going to drop my beer, you're crazy. So
I drink Heineken.
Yeah. Oh, she's a Heineken girl.
Well, like I told you, I'm a beer drinker and a love maker, and I'm not quitting either of those. So they might drop a little bit, but I'm not quitting them totally. But here's the thing that
You don't have to.
Good, good. Because here's what I was going to say to you. If you stand by your product, so I am I am the soft of the two of us. I will admit I am the softer of the two of us. Okay, I don't work out like Chris. I don't have the lifestyle he does. I have a night lifestyle, which
Mhm.
require not. I'm not gonna say it requires, but it entails a lot of fast food eating and more processed foods, right? And I'm not.
Well, that part I'll argue with you on.
Well, and that's fine, but I'm going to tell you that the life I lead, that's the way it is. I'm not a food prepper. I don't do that. So if you were to open my
Ooh.
fridge right now, you'd be very disappointed in me.
Do you eat meat?
Do you?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm a everything. I eat meat wrapped in meat. That's what I.
Okay.
I'm a
When
huge
you're
meat
when
guy.
you're at work and you're doing those things, what do you snack on?
I love peanuts. I'm a nut guy. But really,
Switch
I
it
don't.
out for beef jerky.
Uh,
Switch it out for beef jerky. She said.
and that's fine, and that's totally fine. But I'll be honest with you.
Big
Generally,
difference.
I just give beef jerky to my dog. So I
The
don't.
You
dog's in
don't like
great.
it?
Hey,
You hate it.
the dog's in great shape too.
Yeah,
Turkey
yeah,
jerky?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I get the Slim Jims for my dog. I'll get a
Well,
Red Bull for
Oh, not
myself.
Slim Jim.
see, Slim Jim. See, let me clarify that
Dehydrated meat.
for. Yeah, let me clarify that for. That's my weakness, Dave, and that is processed food. I
Yeah.
should be hitting the higher grade true beef jerky,
Right.
but
Right.
again, the fast-paced lifestyle I was saying to Mary just a second ago was that's my weakness is because of the convenience. You know, you just
Oh, it's all
swing
about
by. Yeah, you
convenience.
swing by and grab. That's where my weakness is, and I need to correct that in my life. I think if I corrected
I'll
my
tell you how
eating,
you can.
yeah, tell me.
So one day a week, I know you guys got a day off. One day a week, you go to Trader Joe or Aldi, one of
Hmm.
these cheaper grocery stores that have the non-GMO foods, right?
Right.
One of these cheaper grocery stores that have the non-GMO foods, and you get things that you can snack on, so that you're not picking up random stuff and doing it like that. Like you don't need to eat a bunch of peanuts. I know that they're pawned off as a health food.
Mm.
If you eat 10 of them, yeah, but if you eat bags of them, absolutely not. That's the fastest way. That's what power lifters eat so that they can get bigger so they can put on weight.
Really?
You know?
That may be your that may
Absolutely.
be your Achilles heel, Dave.
It
That
may
might,
be. I thought I was doing something halfway right. You know, the little mini bags. It's like two for $1 or whatever it is.
but you eat
That's
the whole thing.
No.
well, of course. What
No.
else am I gonna do?
No, because you're doing it too much. You're doing
See,
it too much. You're getting your whole day's allotment of fat in a single handful. So what I would recommend is going to one of these places, getting something like that, something that's high protein, low fat, that you can grab and go and take with you, even if it's just a protein shake or something like that. And I know it doesn't sound like the most delicious thing in the world, and that's where this more painful thing comes in. It's more painful to change than it is to stay the same, right?
right.
Mhm.
But you gotta, if you actually want that result, you've got to go through a little bit of pain for a little while.
It's
And
tough
if
being
it's
sexy.
something as simple as switching out your peanuts for a high protein, low fat food, why not?
Well, hey, listen. This wouldn't be the first time I pushed out my peanuts. So
Pushed him out. He's so weird. He's so weird. Yeah, why?
all right, no, but I'm actually taking notes as you talk. So I'm actually gonna try it. And so here's what I want to do. If you stand by what you say, because here on the Furlough Podcast, we believe we ask hard questions. And we test people because we have people with all kinds of beliefs and theories or whatever it is. We've had ghost hunters. We're working on getting a Sasquatch hunter, and we've got
Yeah,
dietitians and bodybuilders and fighters and
go look at my
jujitsu guys.
clients.
Well, so and that's the thing. But I want to know for myself because anybody can put anybody on anything on their Instagram. So I'm gonna push you and I'm gonna test you, and I want to see for
Let's go.
myself.
Sounds good. She said,
Yeah.
"Let's go."
All right.
She's all in. I like somebody that's positive and believe
No,
something.
no,
Yeah.
me too. Because the
I'm
proof
confident in
is,
what I do. I know I'm good.
Well, I will tell you this, and this is, and I won't give it away too much, but I told Dave the story of our communication and how I was like I was sold the moment she called me back, and the sound of your voice, you were like, it was more like, no, motherfucker, I'm not, bullshitting you, and I was like, I like this chick already.
I don't bullshit anybody. Life's too short for what?
I did though. I called you. Did I not call you out though? I thought you. I was like, ah,
You
this.
did. You tried to.
I was
You
like this.
damn sure tried.
I was like, whatever, assistant.
yeah.
You
but I,
damn sure tried.
but I told Dave and I told a couple other people. I said, man, I checked Instagram and this audio message was on there, and I was like, what the hell is this? And
Mm.
I was like, I felt like I had broke up with her over text, and she was calling to let me know that wasn't happening. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I got you.
Well,
Great.
so, so then tell us about the CBD. So then where does that play into the whole fitness regimen? I guess that's
Well,
where I don't
well, look,
understand.
before you answer that, let me ask a question on that question. Are you going to be doing? Obviously, that's a face deal, where it's for your skin and stuff like that, and you get the other effects of it as well.
You get all the effects.
So you get okay. That's what my question is. Would that be your one intake of the CBD oil, or would it be something that you got to take the?
It's it's not an oil. So it's a brand new product that I'm actually working with. What
Mhm.
I normally work with is a 3-step process that you take in the morning, and this is what I've been doing for a long time now, where I start people off on a 3-step process, and it's just a spin-off from that.
Okay. Now,
So
does the
go ahead.
CB does as far as athletics go? I know that it does for the stress, the anxieties, things of that nature. Do you do CBD for pre or post workout? Um, do you get benefits from that?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me about
Absolutely. Everything from inflammation to joint pain.
it. Right.
It's excellent for anything inflammation, joint inflammation is huge, and I don't think a lot of people realize this. When a lot of people are working out and they're distraught and tired, and I just can't do it anymore, and my knees hurt or my body is aching, and that sort of thing. A lot of times that's from inflammation and joint pain. So if you can take that out of the equation and not just mask it,
Hmm.
where you could take an aspirin if you wanted to, but you're still going to have those issues with inflammation. You're just not feeling them.
What?
Whereas with this type of product, you're actually taking the inflammation all the way down. You're taking the joint pain completely away. You're not just masking it.
So is there one kind of CBD that you guys offer, or is it various depending on the needs of the individual?
I
And
guess.
so this part is the part where we haven't released it yet, and I'm not allowed to really talk too much about it. So it's a 3-step process, and I really have to be very secretive about this because we're not really allowed to
Mm,
talk about it yet because it's not released.
that's understandable. Well, let me ask this question. We'll just go generic on CBD. I mean, I know you see the gummies, you see the oils. I think they've got some that's like a
So many.
balm that you run on there. I because I've grappled and fought and done other things over the years. I have a bulging disc in my neck that'll flare
No
up from
problem.
time to time. And is that something that could help me in that inflammation?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You would feel less pain. You would have less inflammation there. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it cures, prevents, or treats anything because we know how people
Oh
feel
yeah,
about that. But
absolutely.
but will it take the inflammation down? Yes. Will you feel better when you work out? Yes.
Yeah.
Will you have less anxiety? Absolutely.
Now, I don't have any experience with CBD oils or balms or anything like that, but
Oh, okay.
from what I'm telling you, and let's just take your product that's coming out. We'll just take that off the table. We're just pretend like that's not even coming. If I came to
Okay.
you and said that, hey, the only thing that really bothers me, because all my other joints, believe it or not, are in good shape considering people try to break them all the time. Uh, but my neck is. I've had issues. I've wrecked motorcycles and stuff too. That's always giving me issues. But would you would you do an oil or a balm? It's one of the rub-on things for a neck issue,
Well, what I'll tell you right now is what we have coming out is neither one.
right?
But as of right now, I would say probably a balm.
Okay.
But what we have coming out is neither one.
Okay. Well, that's why I wanted to take that off the, kind of slide that to the side and just talk generically about CBD because of my lack of information, my lack of knowledge on that stuff. And we've actually, you know, it's kind of becoming a big thing in our state. They've lightened up a lot of the restrictions that they used to have, and that's why when we communicated via text, this is something that interests me because I'm just now getting a chance to learn about it, where I haven't really looked at learning about it in the past because it was more of a difficult thing to get into.
Oh yeah, it's almost like an instant ease up. Like you put it on, and it's almost an instant. The pain just kind of goes away.
Now, do you have
And
any?
so I think a lot of people have those issues with their spine, like whether they've been in a car accident or I would say that's the number one injury that I come in contact with over the years
Hmm.
with people is something in their vertebrae where they have some sort of issue with a herniated disc or something like that. And so somebody that has that sort of ailment, I mean, CBD is definitely the way to go.
Now do you have any ties to people that do the balm or anything of that nature?
So I know tons of people that do it, and it's excellent.
Well,
I think that CBD is
well,
incredible for that.
Well, off air, via text or whatever, I'll definitely get you to, if you talk to your friends, your experts or whatever, and kind of send me your ideas on what they think for that.
I'm gonna send you some so you can try it and so that you can see.
Oh, excellent.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you, Mary. So the question that I get on the regular is people that want to try, because here in Alabama in particular, where we'll say marijuana is not legal, and I'm not even
Yeah,
sure the state of CBD at this point, but the question that we're always hit with is it going to show up on a drug test? So,
absolutely not. It does not have THC in it. So THC is like marijuana, right? That's not in CBD. CBD comes from the hemp plant, and so which is kind of the same sort of idea, but not at all. It's like apples and oranges.
hmm.
Um, so one has like the drug in it, THC, and one doesn't have any THC at all. So
So
it's
you're
not
telling
actually
me
the drug.
that a guy, a truck driver, whoever here in the state where marijuana is not legal, could take this CBD oil and then pass a drug
Yes,
test?
Yeah, now I've
absolutely.
heard that.
Yes, yes. The top athletes in the world. So at our facility in Davie, we train some of the very top NFL players in the entire world, and they use CBD religiously, and they have to take drug tests all the time. They're the top perform. They're like some of the top performing athletes in the world, and they go through some of the heaviest drug tests in the world, and they are completely fine to use CBD. Yes.
Excellent. Well, and I will tell you, that is the big concern of people that I have talked to. So, I mean, that is a huge piece of information for people to hear.
Or ease of mind.
Sure, yeah, because I think that is that is what restricts so many people that they're concerned for their employment, you know.
Well, that's
Oh yeah, they're good on that.
yeah, that's why we enjoy having
We're
her on.
about to open in so many different countries just because other countries are more apt to take this product than the United States is. So whereas we couldn't sell regular nutrition products like vitamins, I sell vitamins for the most part. I couldn't sell vitamins to people in different countries. I can sell the CBD to people in different countries because it's already allowed in other countries. But it's regulated so much just because we have such an intolerance for what we think is a drug, and it's really not.
Hmm,
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. That's that's good stuff. I mean, I think a lot of people need to hear that. Well,
Oh,
it's
it's
the
incredible.
it's the misconception.
Huge misconception.
Sure. I mean, even myself, being in management, that I wouldn't dare up to talking to you, I wouldn't dare even touch it for fear of I just want to make sure I erred on the
Oh
side of
yeah.
caution. But it's because of a lack of knowledge. So I'm glad you're getting that out there.
Oh yeah, an NFL player could go into any vitamin shop or nutrition store and buy a pre-workout that could test them over the limit for any certain type of drug, right?
Hmm.
That's literally a problem where they can go in to any sort of store that you can just walk into in the United States, buy a pre-workout, and then test positive for some sort of drug.
Yeah,
CBD, they will never test positive for anything.
yeah, a lot of UFC fighters have been having problems with that because they'll just take,
It's true.
vitamins or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're popping for something else,
Hmm.
that and they're like, and they,
Yeah, of course, dimethyl 6, and there's all sorts of different things that aren't really legal that, for the general population because
hmm
they're just a strand away from amphetamine.
hmm
So they'll test positive for that. But CBD isn't even close to what you could go pick up at your local nutrition store and test positive for.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. Well, I'm not part of your marketing program, but if I were, that would be the number one thing that I would hammer on because that seems to be the
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
fear of so many people is their concern of testing positive in their place of employment.
yeah.
And I know that's the thing that I've heard
Oh,
of.
Well,
no.
I'm definitely
Oh,
interested.
no.
I'm definitely interested in the balm. I gotta get that for the neck because my neck's okay for most of the time, but every now and then
I'm going
it'll
to send you
flare up.
some, don't worry.
It'll definitely flare up from time to time. Just depends on how hard we're training that week, and
Mm,
and there's nothing that's just puts you down mentally when you can't move your neck around.
yeah. Well,
Well,
if
I'm going to send you something else too, like nutrition wise, that will help with that even before the CBD. I'm going to send it to you just when we get off here. Just send me your address. I'm going to send it to you,
Oh,
and
definitely.
it will help with inflammation as well.
Oh, excellent. I
that,
like it.
and if you've got some
Yeah.
drops or something you can send in for me, of course I'll take it. Working through the night shift because
That is so
now
crazy.
now I'm all in.
Now
Now that
he's
I know.
now
I'll
he's all
send you guys
interested.
both the 3-step process. You'll be so happy you did it, and you will have no fear of anything being illegal. It's completely 100% legal. It's completely 100% safe. In fact, it's one of the safest things. It's like using aloe. Like if
Yeah,
you
that's
got a
awesome.
cut on your arm, you put some aloe on it. People think it's magic that it takes it away, but not now. We know better, right?
Well, I will
We know
say
better. We know that it's fine.
Well, I will say this, so that we're all about being honest with the people that listen here. So if it's legit, we'll call it legit.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it's not legit, we're gonna call it as not legit.
Yeah.
So know that in advance. So,
I know it.
okay,
We're
okay,
a $2 billion company in 6 years. There's no way anything is getting put out that's not.
awesome,
That's awesome.
excellent.
So what we're going to do, first of all, Mary, having you on has been fantastic.
Thank you so
You,
much for having me.
you exceeded my expectations, I know. But what we want to do is,
Woo!
what I'm going to do is we're gonna fade out here, but you'll hear some music. But if you'll just hang on the line, after we finish this out, we'll end up shutting the show down, and we're going to ask you a few questions off air if you don't mind.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Hang on.